Hey guys, welcome back. Today, quick review of the VILTROX EF extension tubes for Canon, of course. So, I'm not sure if they make any other ones, but these are the ones for Canon. I assume if they make any other ones, they'll be just as good. So, these are a very cheap set on Amazon, and they actually surprisingly work very well. So let's talk about the build quality first. Come in a set of 3, and where can I find it? There you go. Painted on the sides, you have the 3 lengths. Nice to have, and you can actually combine them, mix and match them, use all 3 to get various lengths of macro, which is always nice. One big downside to using these extension tubes is that'll make them never match up to true macro lens is they limit the amount of light going in, but that's not this thing's fault because that's the nature of the product. But anyways, let's talk about the build quality as I said, so we'll just take one off here. They do come with plastic lens caps, one for each end of the set, which is kind of nice. So, build quality. The plastic is very cheap. Like, this might be the cheapest plastic I've felt on just about anything. However, I don't want to be too harsh because surprisingly the lens mounts are metal, and that should be really all that matters, theoretically. Because there's not much the plastic has to protect. You drop these, it's not a big deal. Do have some contacts in here that actually, surprisingly enough, work perfectly. Both autofocus and aperture works, which is kind of surprising for an off-brand kind of cheap kind of thing. But yeah, I've had no issues with them whatsoever. Of course, I said autofocus works, but I mean, that's as well as it can work on a macro level when it's not designed for macro. So I'll get a little bit more into that later. So yeah, it's pretty basic, but it works well. Let me show you how to use it. So for those who don't know, your extension tube will go in between your camera and your actual lens. So it makes me cringe keeping this camera pointed upwards, where sensor dust can get all in, so let's hurry about this. Pretty simple, just put it on like you would a normal lens. I cannot see the alignment dots, but I show you they are there somewhere. And then twist it into place till you hear click. And then they can be released just like normal, and then you attach it, and you attach another lens just like you'd attach any other lens. Tilt our camera a little bit here, sorry about that, just so I can fit this lens. You guys can't see much of this. There we go, and we are very close to the table. That's a bit better. So yeah, it just goes in right in between there, kind of nice. And then to remove your lens, if you don't want to remove your macro tube with it, you can simply pull this tab just like the normal release tab. Like so. I will not be removing it. So yeah, very basic to use. As I said, the contacts do work. Oh, stabilization also works fine. So now I'll just really quickly demonstrate that autofocus in action. You really should not be using autofocus when you're doing macro with extension tubes. Even if it does technically work, it's going to be pretty snappy in this particular case. However, it's not going to stay in focus simply because, well, when your depth of field is like a sliver thin, it's impossible for it to keep up. And you'll be moving your camera around constantly, so your best bet is to manually focus anyways. So, but just to show that it works, you can see we're pretty soft, pretty out of focus here. I have back button focus on, so I'll click back button focus. And it snaps into focus pretty instantly. But this is, as I said, not realistic because I'm, well, holding this camera, bracing it against the table, so it's pretty stable. But it does work.